Today we are going to talk about Azure Fundamentals exam preparation, and welcome on board. My name is Petri and I'm from Sovelton. We are a training company here, and here's a brief introduction about me. And first of all, I have to tell you that I'm not an Azure expert, but I'm expert what comes to how you are going to learn these things online, by self-study, by using different methods. That's my real skills and why the reason why I'm keeping this webinar to you. Here's some certification what I have done last year. I done of course this Azure Fundamentals also, but some other Microsoft basic fundamentals certifications and some Google Cloud and also AWS certification. And the point here is that I did all these by self-study. So I didn't go to any course. I used free materials as much as possible. So this is an evidence for you that it's possible to study these things by yourself, self-study methods, using good tools for free. So like I told you, I'm not going to tell you any deep substance about Azure. I'm going to tell you the best practices, how to succeed with this test. And this is the main thing about this webinar. And this is our agenda for our webinar. We are going to go through skills measured, because this is maybe the most important thing when you are preparing for the exam. Skills measured will tell you exactly the things what you have to know to succeed in this exam. I give you tips and tricks how to prepare and tackle the test or exam with confidence. And I give you a brief summary and next steps how we can proceed from this towards the exam. And at the end of the webinar, we have a questions and answer sessions. I have a couple of questions before, so we can go through it all together if I'm not answering those questions already. And you have a possibility to stop me at any time and ask more info. But please keep your microphones muted until you have something to ask. Okay, let's go in this subject. Like I told you, the skills measured is the most important thing to understand. Microsoft has, of course, really good documentation what this exam is all about. So I'm going to send you this presentation later on, and you will get all these links. So don't worry, you don't have to do any kind of notes there. I will show you this exam page. This is the AZ-900 Microsoft Azure Fundamentals exam page. There's a info about the exam, and as you can see, there is a statement here that this exam will be updated at the end of May. So if you have already done the studies and you are preparing for the exam, I think you should try to schedule the exam before that date. The content will be almost the same as far as I know, but if we look at the skills measured area, these percentages are telling you how many of the questions are going to be in this topic. These can be changed, so the weight of the subject areas can change in the and of course there can be some new issues, because as a cloud service, Azure is updating all the time. There's a lot of new features coming all the time, and that's the reason why they have to update the exam also. But like I tell you, this is really good page about the general info about the exam, but the skills measured is the most important. These are the high-level topics of the exam, but if you download the exam skills outline, it will open up this PDF for you to see more info, what you have to know. So when I have been preparing myself for these exams, I use these skills measured document as my Bible, because when I read this and study at the same time, I can ask myself, can I describe the public cloud? Can I describe the private cloud? So when I go through this document line by line and answer to myself, then I have some kind of gut feeling where I'm going with my knowledge about this exam. So this is really good document. This is the most important document of all. I have a great tool for this later on where you can use when you are reading this document or studying, where you can which you can use for self-assessment. How well do I know these things? I will show it to you later, but it's good tool for this. So in generally, like I said, these are the weights of those subjects and the questions in that exam. Here is a big picture about Azure. We are talking about high-level Azure services. And I will show you this picture because this is really good example how large cloud service Azure is. Nobody knows everything about Azure nowadays. It's impossible. For all of these topics and services what we have here, you could easily have a training for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. But I have highlighted here with this red marking the services that you have to understand what this service will do. This is one major issue and thing to understand when you are going to the exam. But you can see how huge Azure really is, and it's updating all the time. And another tip for the test is this really good picture. I think this is not in the normal materials, official training materials, or in the Learn service. This picture shows you the differences by in SLAs, service level agreement, and what's the difference if we are using single virtual machine, what if we are using availability sets or availability zones or region parts. This is really good picture to help you understand what we are talking about and how these are changing the service level agreement. So this is just one tip for the test. Another tip for the test, especially this was really hard for me. Support plans. There's a microphone open there if you can shut it. Support plans was one of the hardest thing for me to understand because I don't have anything to do with these support plans in real life. So I have to just study row by row what is going to include in what support plan, because this is something there is definitely going to be an questions about this one. So this was something that I just go through line by line. Okay, and there could be questions like, who can open, if you want to open a case, can you do it with your basic support plan? That kind of question. So this is one page that is really good to go through. Okay, how to prepare? This is something that you have done it differently. Some of you might have used this official Microsoft official courseware. We are talking about mock material. If you have participated in instructor-led training, normally you get this official courseware from that training. The material is really good because it's definitely one-to-one mapping to certification. So if you want to be sure that you will go through the certification exam, you should study this mock material. But this material, if you don't have it already, and if you want to use it, you should purchase this material, so it's not for free. And the other side, there is a lot of free stuff. the internet is full of free stuff that you can utilize when you are studying these issues and you want to learn something more. Microsoft Learn is really great learning portal for all the Microsoft technologies. There are a lot of content, and it's developing all the time, and Microsoft is producing new material all the time. In late 2018, there was like 80 hours of content and 3 learning paths. But at the moment, there is more than 580 hours and 186 learning paths in that service. So you can see they are really developing this service. And this is for free for all of you. Anyone can use it. It's like how you can say, maybe Microsoft ecosystem Netflix. There's a lot of different areas and services you can study. It's just not for the Azure. You can study anything from there. So many of the specialists who are working in Microsoft ecosystem are using this as they want to learn some small bits there. They want to learn what this new service is all about. You should definitely first go to Microsoft Learn, because that's the best place to start this. But one challenge is that the content of the learning path is not one-to-one if we are talking about the certification. And if you are using Learn, it's more crucial that you use this skills measured document, because then you know, do I understand enough about this topic? So same time when you are studying or doing the recap about this Azure Fundamentals, remember to use the skills measured document. It's really good. And if you want to learn more by videos, of course, YouTube is full of videos about also this AZ-900. There are a lot of other things also. All the videos are not so great, but of course you will learn something. And if you haven't started the studies and you want to be really quick with this one, there's a great 43 minutes video walkthrough how to pass the AZ-900. If you understand and learn everything from that video, you should be able to pass the exam. So that's really fast way to get in touch to this. But like I told you, I'm not an Azure expert. I just give you the tips how to get the information, how to get the knowledge, but you have to do the work by yourself. Okay. There are a lot of good study guides what you can utilize when you are preparing yourself or when you are studying this for this exam. I will show you one study guide, which I think is one of the best of here. This is a long page, but the content is here the same as the skills measured listing is. So the skills measured listings, but in this case there are links directly to the resource where you can study this issue. So this is a great way to go through all the things they are going to measure in this exam. This is really great way to study this. Most of these links are to the docs.microsoft.com, where it's documentation about all the Microsoft ecosystem technical issues, but it's not that technical, the first level. So the first page mostly is they are describing how things work, what is this service all about, and stuff like that. So if you want to know more, there's always link after link after link, and you can go deeper and deeper if you want to. But if you are reading the skills measured, same time, like this here, you know, this is the level I have to understand and know about it. So this is good way to prepare yourself. But how to keep track? What do I know at the moment? How well do I know about these topics? This is something that I have been using with most of those certifications which I have done. This is a self-assessment tool. It's just an Excel spreadsheet. I will show it to you how it works. At the moment, this Excel sheet is empty, but the idea is here that I have to go through, again, the skills measured topics and how well do I know these topics. There is an assessment overview tab here where you can see the top level. At the moment, I haven't done the self-assessment yet, so these are 0% at the moment. But the self-assessment tab, there's, again, skills measured listening. All the skills measured are here, and I have to go through after the studies, or if I'm starting the studies, I can use this all at the same time. I will mark here and score my knowledge. At the same time, I'm preparing or studying these issues. Understand the terms such as high availability, scalability, elasticity. At the moment, I think I know this area really well. It turns to green one. Understand the principles of economies of scale. Okay, I think this one is, I know a little about it. And like this, when I go through all the topics, all the skills measured, I have a big picture where I'm going with this one. It will give me the confidence level as percentages here, as you can see. And if I go through this whole listing, it will of course update it here. It gives me the objective domains, those 4, which are the main domains of this exam, and I can see, okay, at the moment it doesn't look good. My overall confidence level is just 3.13, so I have to do something about it. But this is really good way to keep track where I'm going at the moment with my knowledge about these things. So there is a link in this our PowerPoint presentation that you can find all those different self-assessments, Excels from there for all of those Microsoft certifications. It's a really good tool. Definitely, you should use that. There is also one really good FAQ about fundamentals exam. There's a lot of basic questions how to prepare, what kind of the exam is, what kind of question types there are, and so on. It's not just about the subject. It's about everything around the exam. How do I have to prepare? What if I'm doing it online instead of going to the test center and so on? So it's something that you should really go through before you go into the exam. And I saved the best tool for last about these tools, what to utilize when preparing for this exam. I will send you, hopefully today, this measure up practice tests. This is the one way to prepare yourself for the exam, but you can also use it for studies. First of all, I was sending these already this morning, these vouchers for you to activate this measure up practice test, but at the moment their web store is have been updated and there is not possibility to send as an email for you as a group email. So I'm working on it and hopefully I will work something out today and you will get the practice test key or voucher so you can start the studies there. And when you activate the measure up practice test, you can use it as many times as you want for this AZ-900 for 180 days. So it's half a year valid and as many times as you want to use it. It's really good and I recommend it to you definitely. I will show you how the practice test works. When you get the email, there is a step-by-step guide how to activate the code and so on. So it's quite easy to use the key there and activate the test. It's valid only for this AZ-900. This is my learning locker, I have a different practice test here, but today we are talking about fundamentals with Azure, so I will show this practice test about it. Just one moment, it will activate. Like I tell you, this is really good way also for studies, not just testing yourself, because there is two different modes here in this practice exam. There's a certification mode, which is just like the actual certification exam. Exactly the same time frame that you have to do it, almost exactly the same user interface, and everything is just like the real certification exam. It simulates the real exam. I think you should do this at least once before you go to the official exam. But I have used most of this tool for practicing. So I can practice all these things with this exam. And now I will show you how this practice mode works. I have a lot of options. I can change everything here. For example, how many questions I want to this time use. I know I have 20 minutes time now, which I can use for training. I can use custom duration here. And one thing I did when I was preparing myself for the exam, I use commute when I come to work. So I have 20 minutes time there to sit on the bus and go to the office. Time before Corona, of course. And I normally take it, okay, give me 15 minutes. Give me different questions about this. So I used all those sitting on the bus time, I studied this one. 15 minutes per day. It was really good. And this works also in mobile, but there's a couple of things that you should know if you're using mobile, and I will show it to you. There are more advanced options here. There are a lot of different kind of options, but especially if you are using mobile for this practice exam, definitely you should use this option. Do not include complex question types. This means that there are question types where you have to drag and drop items, build these, reorder things, and it's not really good with your mobile phone. It doesn't work correctly. So it's good to opt these out. So it's easier to answer these normal question types. Also, simultaneous questions is not good for mobile. I will tap these because I want to show you the normal questions types here and not case studies also. But these all are the same questions types that you will face with the real official exam. And the best of this test for studying these issues is this last one. Auto display answers to any response. This is really good. I will show to you why it's that good. I will go forward. Okay. Sorry, was there some kind of question? Okay. There's a lot of information about this test, and this also simulates the real exam here. I will just go through about this, and you can, when you get the own key, you can read it more carefully. I will begin the test, and here is the first question about IoT Hub. I'm not going to even read it. I just answer it because I want to show you this great option here, how it works. Now I have answered it. I select the second one here, but the correct one was the first one. It will show me this green line here, green box here. This was the correct. And the best part is down here. It will explain me why the green one was correct and why the others are wrong. So I can get really quick brief about these services or things we are talking about in this question. And if I know, okay, IoT Hub, I'm not really familiar with this one. I have a direct links here, all those references, what we are talking about in this particular question. So this is really good way to prepare or even study for these things. Okay, I didn't know that, maybe I want to go and learn more. These are direct links to learn or docs.microsoft.com. So really efficient way. One more. There are questions, and this is good to know when you go this official exam. If there is a question with multiple answers here, like this one, there's 3. The score is not going to be just 1 point or 0 point. This is probably it's going to give you 3 points at maximum. But if you select one wrong, it will give still the points for the correct ones. So it's good to know for you that if there are some multiple options to answer, like here, it's more than 1 point question. Okay, for some reason it didn't give me the green color, but it moved my selections to correct ones. And again, here is the explanation about why these are wrong, why these are okay, and what is and here are the links to the references. So I think you get the idea here how this is working. So this was the practice mode, and there was the separate official simulation mode where you can practice for the real exam with real time frame and so on. It's really good, and hopefully you will get a practice test key today if everything goes well. But this is also a good way to prepare, of course, for the subject matter, but also the timing. In this official test, you have 60 minutes time to answer all the questions. We go a little bit later, we go through those, what the test is all about. But the timing, how much time do I have to use normally by normal questions? And the practice test here this is much more about those harder and more difficult questions than the real exam. In real exam, there are also some easier questions and of course some harder, more technical questions. But this practice test is about those harder. So if you succeed with this one, you will probably succeed also with the official test. Okay, how to tackle the test with confidence? There are a lot of things that maybe it's good for you to know, that the exam has normally about 35 to 55 questions. And of course, the questions are always every time different, and the amount of questions is different also. But about 40 maybe is the normal, 45 is the normal, because there's only 60 minutes time for these questions. Most of the questions are multiple choice questions, and maybe 15% are lighter, interactive questions. Like I told you, there can be, and this lighter means that there can be this drag and drop. You have to sort these things and build these things and stuff like that. So they are not so subject based questions. Of course, you have to understand the services and stuff in the background, but that is just not the multiple choice questions. So you have 60 minutes time to complete this whole question pack. And like I told you, there are some questions that are more than 1 point. But most important thing from this test is that you answer all to your questions. And if you don't know the correct answer, then you have to guess, because there are no penalty for guessing, and especially for guessing wrong. So it's better to guess than leave it empty, because there's always possibility that you get points from there. There was one question already for the possible question types. Microsoft, of course, have a really fantastic page for that. About the question types, but where did I put it? Maybe I open it again. In here. Oh, wow. Yeah, now it's open. There is information about this exam, and there's even a short video about the exam types. But there is also there's a question examples here. But here is the list of all the question types you have. There are best answer, build list, case studies, and so on. There is also this hot area question, and I'm quite sure that there is going to be at least one question about the portal.azure.com, the web interface of Azure portal. There can be a question like, where do you click if you want to activate the command line interference, CLI? So it would be really good if you have the possibility to go to the portal.azure.com at least once and go around, look around what you can see. And if you don't have a possibility to go there, you can always use Microsoft Learn, and you can select the Azure Fundamentals learning path from there. And there are some labs in this material where you can activate the sandbox, and it will open up you a real Azure user interface, and you can start study things from there. So that's one way to get to know the interface of Azure portal. Okay, and when you are doing this practice exam or the official exam, there is a possibility that you can mark questions that, okay, I'm not sure about this, I have to think about it more if I have more time. I go first through all the questions, answering the ones I'm sure about, and if there's a harder ones that I don't have a clue, I can mark this question for review. So I can go after I have gone through all the questions, then if I have time left, I go and think about it a little bit more. For me, the 60 minutes was enough. It took like maybe 35 minutes to go through all the questions, but I'm really fast person also. I read fast. I also make a stupid mistakes for that. So take your time when you are reading the questions and try to be sure what to answer. And you have to remind that there is some questions cannot be skipped. So this means that you cannot review for that. You cannot mark for review. So you have to answer it straight away. And like I told you, you should answer all the questions. If you don't know, guess. And if there's any quickies, meaning that you know the answer for sure, do it fast. Just straight away. Don't think about it. But for me, there wasn't so many quickies, because most of even the easiest questions were presented in that way that it was quite hard to first to understand what is the real question here, what this is all about. So this is one thing you should remember, that when you are tackling these individual questions, read carefully what the question is all about. Try to find the keywords. And after that, if there's a multiple selection, eliminate the obvious. Eliminate the things that you know this it cannot be. So there's a better possibility even to guess the correct answer. But that way I did mine, and the score was quite good. And for the passing this exam, the official exam, you should get 700 points out of 1,000. This means that you have to get 700 points, not 70%. correct, because there are different points for different questions. So we don't really know how much the one question is really worth about. If there are a lot of different options, you have to select 2, 3, or 4 correct answers and so on. So it could be, because the questions are not all same value. This means that you don't have to get 70% correct, but you have to get 700 points. And it doesn't matter, do you have 700 points or 1000 points, you still get the certification badge. You will be certificated after this one. So only thing that matters that you have to have 700 points, and you will get a great digital badge from Acclaim, and you can share it to Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. And in case if you fail with this test, there is a retake policy. But if you fail for the first time, there's a 24-hour retake policy. If you fail for the second time, there are 2 weeks retake policy. But at the moment, you shouldn't be worried about that. If you take these good tips and tips and tricks with you when after this webinar, I'm sure that there is going to be you're going to succeed with this exam. Okay. Next steps. First of all, you should schedule time for your test. It's important, especially at the moment, because of course, because of this coronavirus, most of the these test centers are closed. So only possibility is to do it online proctorate exam. This means that you have to, there's a lot of technical requirements about your computer which you are using at the with this test, and you have to have a webcam there, and you have a quite small room, hopefully no windows and stuff like that. There are a lot of requirements with that, but it's doable. And here is a full list of requirements about your computer and about the premises where you are doing the exam. So you should read carefully through all those requirements and think about it. For example, if you are doing the exam at home, you have a small room with no windows there, and you are doing the exam, the online proctor is a really human being who is watching you via the webcam. And if there is somebody comes into that room, open up the door, the exam goes there. There are no excuses, no possibility to continue. It's over. So, like I said, read carefully all the requirements and you will succeed. Later on, it's possible when test centers are open, it's easier to come to test center because you don't have to worry about technical issues, or is this a good way to do it or correct way. You don't have to think about it at all. Just come and pay a little administration fee. You don't have to come to our place. You can use whatever test center is nearest to you, and so on. But here is the link directly where you can register for the exam. And this is something that you should do straight away, because of this virus situation, there is a lot of test takers online. Microsoft and Webinaaritallenne, which is the exam company, which are holding these test centers, test online, are informed that they are increasing the capacity of these online proctorers. So there are more available times for you, but there could be a huge queue for this. So especially if you don't want to wait for the AZ-900 to update, which was at the end of May, you should do it today, this scheduling the exam. Definitely today. It can go already 1 month, 2 months towards the summer, because of the increased demand of these online proctorate test times. Okay, I created here a brief summary what you should do And what are the steps that you should do to succeed with the official exam? Like I said, schedule the exam. That's the first thing to do. It also gives you a deadline, when the time frame that, okay, now I know my test is on at the end of May. Now I have a couple of months or 1.5 months time to recap the things and go forward. It's easy to stay here, and if you don't have the exam time scheduled, easy to stay here and wait, okay, I will do it next week and so on. It will move forward all the time. And especially if you have the vouchers, free vouchers to do these exams, you have to remember that they are valid only for the certain amount of time. So use these vouchers as soon as possible. And when you are starting to study or recapping the things or preparation for this the exam, first of all, you should use the self-assessment tool, which I show you, the Excel file. There you can score your knowledge. It helps you to see the big picture, where are you going with this. Remember to use the skills measures list so you can focus on the right topics. If you use the self-assessment tool and you see, okay, I don't understand these and these services, and you check out the skills measured, okay, these are the things I have to know about these services, then you can focus on the correct things to learn the correct topics and subjects there. And you can use your favorite learning method or tool for this, getting this knowledge. There, like I told you and showed to you in this my PowerPoint presentation, there are a lot of different study guides. You can use the official Microsoft official courseware, or you can use free Microsoft Learn, and of course you can use this Measure Up practice test. You can use whatever you want. Which is the best for you? Which feels the most convenient to you? And even if you like to watch the videos, remember there was this really good 43 minutes video about this, how to get this information really fast. After that, do the practice exam, the certification mode, the mode which was simulating the real certification test. There is this promise from Measure Up that if you do the certification mode and you succeed it 2 times in a row, you will pass the test. But they have to be 2 times in a row. But like I said, if you pass it 1 time, you are your foundation is really good and you are quite ready for the test. And remember, you can practice for the exam. Like I told you, I use it during my bus trips when I was commuting to work. I was using it for 20 minutes a day. Of course, it gives me some confidence. It shows me that I really know about these issues and things. And remember, the practice exam, there was the hardest questions all the time. Then you go. You have scheduled your exam, the date arrives, you go and do it. Probably you're going to do it online, proctorate exam, you will succeed it. But you remember, you have to allocate some more time for this official exam, even if you're doing it in a test center or online. There's 60 minutes for the questions. There are some review and introductions and stuff like that, so it takes at least 1.5 an hour. So 90 minutes at least is good to schedule the time for the exam. When you have succeeded with the official exam, remember to publish the certification badge. You will show not just only that you know about Azure Fundamentals and you have succeeded with this one, but you will also show that, hey, I'm capable of learning new things. I'm capable of developing myself. It's really, really good asset nowadays. And of course, celebrate. You have to remember that this is an official certification exam. You have to know about those things. You cannot pass this test with luck. It's impossible. Nobody's that lucky. You have to study for this. Even it's fundamentals, but you have to study and understand the things which are listed in the skills measure listening. Okay, that was the official part of this exam prep, and now it's time for your questions and I will answer them. And there's also again my contact information. If you want to ask me later about these things, you can send me an email or contact via LinkedIn in there. But okay, do we have any questions?
Yes. Question. First question is after you finish the exam, for some reason I can hear myself.
The voice is okay here.
Sounds good. So after you finish the exam, you're getting just a score. Will you receive the list of questions which you missed?
First of all, directly after the exam, you will just get the pass failed information. You will get later on more detailed information about your exam, and I don't remember, I think there is no possibility to review afterwards the questions. No.
From my own perspective, when I took exams, they never send exam questions.
There is some kind of summaries about different topics, if I remember correctly, but there's no individual questions. There are no.
That's correct.
Any other questions?
Yeah, it is regarding. Am I audible? It is regarding booking the exam date.
Yeah.
So my question was that right now, because of this unprecedented situation, suppose I book a date for 25th May for online exam, but later I feel that I'm not confident at giving from home or offline, and I want to go to the test center. Then is the change possible? Can I change later then?
Good question. Yes, it's possible. And before coronavirus time, there was a quite tight rescheduling or canceling policy. But they have, for this situation here, they have changed it, and you can, I think if I remember correctly, nowadays you can change or cancel your exam time 24 hours or 48 hours before the time.
Okay.
So it's quite flexible at the moment. Before it was like 2 weeks before or something like that. So now it's easier to cancel or reschedule your exam.
Okay, thanks.
The certification has not experience. I forgot this word. So is this certification gives you for whole life, or just for like 3 years, or after 5 years you have to retake the exam?
Yeah, good question again. Normally, Microsoft certifications are valid only a certain duration, but Azure Fundamentals is for life. So it means that you have to do it once, and it's for you for the rest of your life. Even if the subjects are changing and developing all the time, but this is for, remember, this is the fundamentals things that you have to understand. There's a quite big gap if you want to continue your Azure career and study role-based certification, for example, at Azure Administrator. There's a big step. There's nothing between them. And nowadays they are saying, for example, this Azure Administrator, that you should have at least 6 months hands-on experience on administrating on Azure. Okay, more questions.
Did I understand that right, that it's impossible to take the exam at home if you don't have a windowless room?
I'm not saying that it's impossible, but there could be things that you have to fix, you know, something. I heard that if there is a window, there should be some kind of fog on it, or you have to cover it somehow. But there has been, I think there, if I remember correctly, again, there has been some cases that the proctoring person has told that this is okay. Of course, they understand the situation at the moment. It's not not really good for us, and it's quite hard for some of us to do this exam at home and find the right kind of place. But that is something that you can always ask from the when you are registering for this exam. You can send their questions, and when you start to do this exam, you have to show with your laptop around the room. The proctoring person will say you if there is something wrong and you have to fix it.
Yeah, from my experience, because like I passed couple Pearson's View exams 2 years ago, and I passed them a lot. I have like more than 10 exams with the Pearson View test center at home, right? So in my experience, I live on a 4th floor. So I had the external camera, and I had to show what exactly view is from my window. And the proctors see that I'm located like really high away. She accepted that. And also another thing, that you should have a wide angle camera, so the proctor should be able to see your room at least for like for some good wide angle. Because if you have a laptop using like some bad resolution camera, it's not will work for you guys. That's what was 2 years ago, what I remember.
I think the situation is the same at the moment. It was really good tip. Thank you.
Yeah. So maybe it's worth to buy some camera. I know.
Okay.
Sorry,
So you have to show. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just asking that you have to show the room just before the exam or well in advance, or just
before the exam.
Sorry.
Just before the exam.
Just before the exam. Okay.
Yeah, and also your table should be clean. Nothing like papers, pens, anything. Table should be free.
Your mobile,
and you should,
of course, everything like that. You have to really clue. There is like I said, there is I will send you this presentation, and there is a link directly to the page where is all those things are. There are a lot of good listening about these requirements for the premises where you are doing it.
Hi, Petri. Just a quick question. Slightly confused because in your presentation earlier page, I think it showed 80% is the passing mark, and towards the end of the presentation, it showed like 700 out of 1,000. So
that's a good question. I forget to told you about that. I was showing you this practice exam. There was the line is 80%. And in official exam, it's 700 points from 1,000. So that's the difference. It says 80% with the practice exam and 700 points with official certification exam.
Okay, and just another question. I do have an experience from another certification exam from the Microsoft, but then I wanted to also confirm from this particular exam that is it so that in case any of the update pop-ups or notifications come up onto my laptop while I'm taking it like a proctor guided certification, will it still like debar me from the exam, or will it give me a chance to restart it, or what?
You don't have no restarting. It's not allowed. Okay. All the notifications and everything must be out of use, and of course you are using this certain kind of program when you are doing the exam. I don't know, does it does it help you that it's not going to show you the notifications? But I think you should have all the other apps and all the other possible notification centers and stuff like that. You have to switch them off.
Yeah, of course, but I think that there are certain things, for example, the firewalls and those kind of things, which if I'm using my work laptop, I do need an admin rights, like admin login for that, which of course in this situation I won't be able to get because I'm not going to the office at the moment. So that's something I can't control. So just in case in the background, if there is some updates going on and it just pops up. So yeah. Okay, so there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah. First of all, if there is a possibility, do not use your working laptop, because normally there are quite restricted firewalls and security things going on there, and these all prevents you from doing that exam. there is a possibility from the link. If you go to the page I was showing about this exam, there is a possibility to test your computer. Is it okay for the test? Is it working correctly? Most of the cases with your company's laptop, it's not going to work.
Okay,
Yes, I agree with
one last question while we are talking this. We did have like a small one-day session for this fundamental at our office, and I do understand that there were some of my colleagues who were attending this, like, you know, kind of like a good to know stuff, it's nice to be there, but they are not interested to have the certification exam done, but however they have a voucher that they can use. So in case I don't make it through in the first attempt, would it be possible to use those voucher codes for me?
Good question.
Because they are willingly not interested in it.
Yeah, I understand your question, but I'm not sure about, because in this case, I think these vouchers are coming from directly from Microsoft, and I don't know. I think they are meant to be used only by that person who this voucher is allocated. But if you don't succeed and you want to use another voucher for the exam, or if you want to do another exam and you just need a new voucher, in your company there is a person who is the main connect directly to the Microsoft, and you can ask from this person to him or she to ask more vouchers from the Microsoft. This is the official procedure for this one, and I'm sure that you will get more of these free vouchers. Microsoft is giving these vouchers all the time, very free-handedly at the moment.
Okay, but it has to go through that one person in the office,
Yes.
which I need to obviously find out. I'm not sure who that person is, so it has to go from them.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. More questions? We still have it's already 1 minute past the time, but if you have questions, please ask me. We have some technical problems.
Yeah. Hello, name is Alexander. I missed basically the whole thing due to not being able to join like some else. So I just wanted to know, will there be anything that has been mentioned in this recording or the PowerPoint that will not be included, that has been mentioned during this session? Will there be anything that is being left out, or will we get all the information through the recording in PowerPoint?
You will get all the information through the PowerPoint and this recording. And one more thing, if you have later on, if there is any possibility, if you have any problems, please contact me. And I'm really sorry for this technical issues in this is from the start, beginning of this webinar. It worked last time, and but not this time.
Yeah, well, I don't blame. Second question: I heard you guys were talking about restrictions on the computer you're doing the test on. Is it possible to do it on a virtual PC, or do we basically need to find a new PC to do this?
I haven't done it. I haven't even heard that someone has it done via virtual machine. I don't know, but I think I'm not sure. I don't want to answer this question, but I can find it out. I can find it out because it was really interesting scenario. But I'm afraid these technical restrictions and requirements are so tough that I'm afraid that it could be not doable.
At least you can try to create a live Linux USB and boot it from the USB and try to take exam this way.
I don't know how the application works. Is it a website? Is it a exe?
I think that's a website.
And it doesn't use any. Oh, sorry.
There's going to be some installations to your laptop when you are starting the exam.
Okay.
I think
I agree with Petri.
If I remember correctly, Linux is not an option. You have to have a Windows or Mac machine.
Okay.
Correctly.
Okay, so are there any other sources of the questions?
There was this really good FIQ link in this presentation. There are a lot of these things are question there and answer there. So definitely should go through that. And like I said, if you have problems, please contact me. I will help you to go through this.
Yeah, because I saw there are like 183 questions in the tool that you proposed. Yeah, but maybe you need to go through more to be ready, like 300-400. So I'm searching for some more questions, you know, to have better feeling that I went through more questions from different sources. That's my usual way how to pass.
Ah, okay. But I don't know if there are any free
even paid one, but good one.
Yeah, but this measure up practice test is at least it's official practice test for Microsoft. And measure up is confident with that if you passed these questions and do the official practice test there and pass it twice, even if there's only this little bit under 150 questions or whatever it was, you should pass the test, because like I said before, these questions are much more harder than the official test.
Okay. Well.
Sorry, just to confirm, so it's not possible to take exam if you have a Linux machine, right?
I'm not sure about it. I can check it right away because I have the page here.
Okay. Well, it is a Microsoft test we're doing.
Yeah, it's not. It's the person view. It's the.
Yeah, because my personal laptop is Linux. My job laptop doesn't have webcam. I mean, I have a desktop at work.
No, I totally understand.
Thanks.
While you're looking for that, Petri, I would ask just a quick clarification if I understood it right. You said that there is no limit to the attempts we can do this test, practice test. Yeah. And was it the same also in both the modes, like the certification mode of practice test and the normal one? So we can take both of them as many times as
many times as you want.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, here are system requirements.
Okay, I see. Are strictly prohibited Linux machines.
And Petri, if you fail in first attempt, after that, how many attempts are allowed?
I don't know if there's any limit to how many times you want to can try it, but like I said, there's this retake policy. At first fail, 24 hours, and second fail, there's 2 weeks, and I don't remember. But I'm sure that if you use these tools and materials which I gave to you, I'm sure that you're going to pass.
Yeah, I'm just asking for the information that even if you are attempting second time or third time, so same voucher can be used if the voucher has not expired.
No, the voucher is valid only for one time.
Okay. So you will have to buy again.
Yes, if you don't have free vouchers, then you have to buy again. But this is this fundamentals certification cost is a little bit less than the normal associate and expert level certificate. It's like $99 or something.
Okay, thanks.
Others. Okay. More questions.
Well, not exactly with the subject, but just the way the exams. Every time I think of these certification exams, I get this question hitting my head really hard. Like, why on earth was this test or certification test made so strict, like the Proctor test? I mean, the way they are asking you to show your pockets, your glasses are being checked, your sleeves are being asked to pull up and stuff like that. I mean, why is it meant like that? Because, I mean, practically speaking, even after I am certified, I would definitely, when I'm using these knowledge, like in my workplace, I would use some reference, like I would go to Google or try to upgrade my knowledge. And, you know, when I'm implementing any solution, I'm definitely going to take help of the other resources. So why in exams this is made so strict that you can't even move your eyes off the camera? I think majority of the people who attempt, even I have failed the first attempt, and that's because I realize that it's this stress, because the moment you move your eyes, or if you just cover trying to wipe your face, you've been asked to like show your workspace again and again and again. So I mean, why?
I
What's
think
the point?
this is something to do with our history and a previous life, the time before how do we say, this information era, that and they want to give some really great value. If you hold this, you have this certification, they want to be sure that you will get it with your knowledge, not with cheating on this. So everybody knows that if you are holding this certification, you really have to know about this. It's not possible to get it any other way. But I understand your pain, and it's things. Sometimes it's ridiculous how tight they are, and but this is their policy, unfortunately.
I assume, and it's the same thing as they wanted to be as good as certification as if you were in a classroom, basically. I assume.
Yeah, this, if you go to the test center, there is a really tight monitoring all the time here, and we have cameras, and you have to give 2 different kind of ADs when you're coming here, and it's really strict. But this is the policy, and we have to just cope with it. More questions? Okay, sounds that we are ready here. Thank you for your time, and I'm really sorry about these technical issues, but you will all get this presentation and this recording about this our session, where is my contact info and stuff, and hopefully use this wisely, and I think you're going to succeed with this exam, definitely. And thank you for your time, and have a great and pleasant day afternoon there.